Where's the big man? Where's the whale of freedom? Trump! Trump! So much intensity. Or is he sitting down? He's going to approach the stage, right? He's going to approach the podium. Okay. Come on. Come on! Big Don. Breaking news, guys. This is live.
The Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Donald Trump, President of the United States of America.
Do you think he wants to get called that in
request protocol to
domestic
escort His Excellency and invite him to address the Assembly.
His Excellency. He must love that. His Majesty. Shit.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working.
Oh, no.
I feel very happy to be up here with you, nevertheless. And that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Fuck me, man. Why is he funny? I hate that he's funny. Fucking cunt. Did Hitler ever tell jokes?
Hello, Madam First Lady. Thank you very much for being here. And Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, First Lady of the United States, distinguished delegates, ambassadors, and world leaders. 6 years have passed since I left.
He's told anti-Semitic ones.
Stood in this grand hall and addressed a world that was prosperous and at peace in my first term. Since that day, the guns of war have shattered the peace I forged on 2 continents.
Biden.
An era of calm and stability gave way to one of...
Russia was in Ukraine for your entire presidency. There were Russian soldiers in the country. Oh, God.
The great crises of our time. And here in the United States, 4 years of weakness, lawlessness, and radicalism.
Wait, can we just hang on? The Libyans were still, there was still a civil war in Libya. Actually, this is the civil war in India actually ceased fire in 2020. So for his entire presidency, the war was raging on in Libya. Russia was still in Ukraine. The Rohingya genocide was going on. Sudan was still fucking kicking off. There's so, fuck me. Wasn't Eritrea, Somalia, weren't they fighting as well? Syria was raging on, because that didn't calm down until about 2020. Afghanistan still going on. Holy fuck. God.
This administration delivered our nation into a repeated set of disasters. 1 year ago, our country was in deep trouble. But today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. And there is no other country even close. America is blessed with the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth.
Oh, wow.
This is indeed the golden age of America.
I don't think Americans are really supposed to talk about how they're the best country on earth at the UN. We're better than all. Yeah, fuck me. You say that domestically, dude.
We are rapidly
it's a Trump rally. It's just a MAGA rally.
The economic calamity we inherited from the previous administration, Biden, including ruinous price increases and record-setting inflation.
Yeah, there we go. Inflation
we've
got
never
it.
had before.
Let's go.
Under my leadership, energy costs are down, gasoline prices are down, grocery prices are down, mortgage rates are down, and inflation has been defeated. The only thing that's up is the stock market, which just hit a record high.
Up after
fact,
the
hit
epic
a record
dip.
high 48 times in the last short period of time. Growth is surging, manufacturing is booming. The stock market, as I said, is doing better than it's ever done. And all of you in this room benefit by that, almost everybody. And importantly, workers' wages are rising at the fastest pace in more than 60 years. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? In 4 years of President Biden, we had less than $1 trillion of new investment into the United States. In just 8 months since I took office, we have secured commitments and money already paid for $17 trillion. Think of it, 4 years, less than $1 trillion, 8 months, much more than $17 trillion is being invested in the United States, and it's now pouring in from all parts of the world. We've implemented the largest tax cuts in American history and the largest regulation cuts in American history, making this once and again the best country on earth to do business. And many of the people in this room are investing in America, and it's turned out to be an awfully good investment during this 8-month period. In my first term, I built the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had the best economy
like you've never
ever,
seen.
History of the world. And I'm doing the same thing again, but this time it's actually much bigger and even better. The numbers far surpass my record-setting first term. On our southern border, we have successfully repelled a colossal invasion, and for the last 4 months, and that's 4 months in a row, the number of illegal aliens admitted and entering our country has been 0. Hard to believe, because if you look back just a year ago, it was millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, from prisons, from mental institutions, drug dealers. All over the world they came. They just poured into our country with the ridiculous open border policy of the Biden administration.
Biden.
Our message is very simple. If you come illegally into the United States, you're going to jail, or you're going back to where you came from, or perhaps even further than that. You know what that means. I want to thank the country of El Salvador for the successful and professional job they've done in receiving and jailing so many criminals that entered our country. And it was under the previous administration that the number became record-setting, and they're all being taken out. They have no choice. And other countries have no choice, because other countries are in the exact same situation with immigration. It's destroying your country, and you have to do something about it. On the world stage, America is respected again like it has never been respected before. You think about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or 1 year ago, we were a laughingstock all over the world. At the NATO summit in June, virtually all NATO members formally committed to increase defense spending at my request from 2% to 5% of GDP, making our alliance far stronger and more powerful than it was ever before. In May, I traveled to the Middle East to visit my friends and rebuild our partnerships in the Gulf, and those valued relationships with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE and other countries are now, I believe, closer than ever before. My administration has negotiated one historic trade deal after another, including with the United Kingdom, the European Union, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, and many, many others. Likewise, in a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable. You're never going to get them solved. Some were going for 31 years, 2 of them, 31, think of it, 31 years. One was 36 years. One was 28 years. I ended 7 wars. And in all cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people.
Millions of wars.
Being killed. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran.
He ended Pakistan and India. Oh, God, that's a good one. I didn't know that one.
Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan.
Oh, you got to remember that one. Okay, good.
It included all of them.
Wait. What was the story with Egypt and Ethiopia? Because I thought their restoration of relations was in 2021-22 with the embassies reopening. What happened to them? Or did they have a crisis again and then it got averted? Huh. I don't know. Fuck me.
No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that.
The dam on the Nile. Yeah, but I guess Biden gets to claim one as well, right? Because they also calmed down in 2022. They had a crisis in 2021 that ended in 22. But I don't know, fuck.
And I
Stupid.
did it in just 7
Dumb.
months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen.
What?
But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations.
Oh,
a
no.
bad escalator and a bad teleprompter.
I love how he's just trashing them
Thank
and they're
you
all
very
laughing
much.
along with it. Like, what the fuck?
And by the way, it's working now. It just went on. Thank you.
He's basically saying, yeah, like I'm doing all the good things and I'm doing all the peace. I'm ending all the wars. Fuck you guys, and you guys can't even work a fucking teleprompter. That's what he's saying, right? And they're all just kind of like, yeah, yeah, we are quite useless. Shut the fuck.
I think
man.
I should just do it the other way. It's easier. Thank you very much. I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there.
Wow.
I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous, tremendous potential. But it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now.
I guess he's doing this kind of meme, isn't he? He's like, it must be quite intimidating if you're a small country and you know that Trump might tariff you or like intimidate the fuck out of you or threaten to invade you if you cross him. So they're probably just sitting there hearing this, but instead of the olive branch and the freedom fighter's gun, there's no olive branch. It's more of just like a funny, a belittling joke in one hand and a tariff in the other.
سيادة الرئيس بغصن الزيتون في يدي وببندقية الثائر في يدي لا تسقط الغصن الأخضر من يدي في
Do not let the tariffs come forward. Don't let the silly jokes fall from my hand.
Is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war. The only thing that solves war and wars is
B-2 bombers.
action.
Oh, okay.
Now, after ending all of these wars and also earlier negotiating the Abraham Accords, which is a very big thing for which our country received no credit, never receives credit. Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements. But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with their mothers and fathers, because millions of people
he's such
are
a
no longer being
humanitarian.
killed in endless and unglorious wars.
Yeah. Oh.
What I care about is not winning prizes, it's saving lives. We saved millions and millions of lives with the 7 wars. And we have others that we're working on, and you know that. Many years ago, a very successful real estate developer in New York, known as Donald J. Trump, I bid on the renovation and rebuilding of this very United Nations complex. I remember it so well. I said at the time that I would do it for $500 million, rebuilding everything.
Oh my God.
It'd be beautiful. I used to talk about, I'm going to give you marble floors. They're going to give you terrazzo. I'm going to give you the best of everything. You're going to have mahogany walls. They're going to give you plastic. but they decided to go in another direction, which was much more expensive at the time.
By the way, he's also saying this when, and this is based on previous data, this projection, because USAID was so essential to so many countries, especially places like Sudan, when it came to emergency kitchens, and actually even some entire countries, I think in Southeast Africa, were dependent on USAID, and now they're going to really struggle without funding. The estimate was, based on previous USAID data, that it could be anything up to like 14 million unnecessary deaths if their work isn't replaced by someone else by 2030. Like, it's not like a stupid prediction. They're just looking at how many people USAID has fed and helped from 2000 until 2021, like in the last 20 years. Yeah, because they were so prevalent. Like, it's a very small part of American GDP, but obviously a small part of American GDP feeds a lot of people, right? Yeah, and he wants his fucking Nobel Prize for doing this, for shutting the overwhelming majority of emergency kitchens in Sudan, for leaving like entire countries dependent on someone else, or having to close university programs and having to close food kitchens and everything else. Like, yeah, it's having to close welfare programs. Did you say thank you once? And it's also leaving a huge soft power gap in the developing world for other countries to go in, right? Like countries like China or whoever else. Not good. And the worst thing about US aid is everyone hates them. Right-wingers hate them because they hate foreign aid. Populist leftists hate them because they see it as American imperialism. Like people like Mike from PA, like, or Shoe on Head, like how these kind of like weird niche people were just like, we're celebrating when USAID was gone, or other people just saying it doesn't really matter. Like, it's one of those things that did so much in the world that people have just kind of like, that everyone universally hates. A lot of the people who are anti-Ukraine or Ukraine skeptics would say that USAID was constructing fake polling or encouraging people to try and coup the government.
Which actually produced a far inferior product. And I realized that they did not know what they were doing when it came to construction, and that their building concepts were so wrong, and the product that they were proposing to build was so bad and so costly. It was going to cost them a fortune. And I said, and wait till you see the overruns. Well, I turned out to be right. They had massive cost overruns and spent between $2 and $4 billion on the building, and did not even get the marble floors that I promised them.
Oh my God.
You walk on Tirade.
Unbelievable.
As far as I'm concerned, frankly, looking at the building and
absolutely
getting
despicable,
stuck on the escalator, they still haven't finished the job. They still haven't finished. That was years ago. The project was so corrupt that Congress actually asked me to testify before them on the tremendous waste of money, because it turned out that they had no idea what it was, but they knew it was anywhere between $2 and $4 billion, as opposed to $500 million with a guarantee. But they had no idea, and I said it cost much more than $5 billion. Unfortunately, many things in the United Nations are happening just like that, but on an even much bigger scale, much, much bigger. Very sad to see. Whether the UN can manage to play a productive role, I've come here today to offer the hand of American leadership and friendship to any nation in this assembly that is willing to join us in forging a safer, more prosperous world. And it's a world that we'll be much happier with. A dramatic.
All this for a fucking escalator, man. He's so mad.
Is within our reach. But to get there, we must reject the failed approaches of the past and work together to confront some of the greatest threats in history. There is no more serious danger to our planet today than the most powerful and destructive weapons ever devised by man, of which the United States, as you know, has many. Just as I did in my first term, I've made containing these threats a top priority, starting with the nation of Iran. My position is very simple. The world's #1 sponsor of terror can never be allowed to possess the most dangerous weapon. That's why shortly after taking office, I sent the so-called Supreme Leader a letter making a generous offer I extended a pledge of full cooperation in exchange for a suspension of Iran's nuclear program. The regime's answer was to continue their constant threats to their neighbors and U.S. interests throughout the region and some great countries that are right nearby. Today, many of Iran's former military commanders, in fact, I can say almost all of them, are no longer with us. They're dead. And 3 months ago, in Operation Midnight Hammer, 7 American B-2 bombers dropped the 30,000-pound each bombs on Iran's key nuclear facility.
Is this normal as well to talk about your military exploits against other countries when they're in the room with you? There are Iranian representatives in the room. He's like, yeah, we bombed the shit out of you. And it was good.
Totally
wow.
Obliterating everything. No other country on earth could have done what we did. No other country has the equipment to do what we did. We have the greatest weapons on earth. We hate to use them. But we did something that for 22 years people wanted to do. With Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity demolished, I immediately brokered an end to the 12-day war, as it's called, between Israel and Iran, with both sides agreeing to fight no longer. As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in seeking a ceasefire in Gaza. Have to get that done.
2 weeks. Have to get it done.
Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace.
Shit!
We can't forget October 7th, can we?
No.
Now, as if to...
Oh, there he is. There's the guy.
Continued conflict. Some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state.
Uh-oh.
The rewards...
Drama. Call out.
...would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities, including October 7th, even while they refuse to release the hostages or accept a ceasefire. Instead of giving to Hamas and giving so much, because they've taken so much, this could have been solved so long ago. But instead of giving in to Hamas's ransom demands, those who want peace should be united with one message. Release the hostages now. Just release the hostages.
Goddamn. Uh-oh. They're oh, shit.
Thank you. As we have got to come together, and we will come together, got to get it done. We have to stop the war in Gaza immediately. We have to stop it. We have to get it done. We have to negotiate. Immediately have to negotiate peace. We got to get the hostages back. We want all 20 back. We don't want 2 and 4. As you know, I got, along with Steve Witkoff and others that helped us.
You're supposed to say 48 because they count the bodies, right? Like the ones who are presumed dead. Okay. I guess you just kind of... Is that normal? Is he supposed to just concede that the 28 are definitely dead?
Marco Rubio, we got most of them back. We were involved in all of them. But I always said the last 20 are going to be the hardest, and that's exactly what happened. We have to get them back now. We don't want to get back 2, and then another 2, and then 1, and then 3. Have this process. No, we want them all back, and we want the actually 38 dead bodies back too. Those parents came to me, and they want them back, and they want them back.
Well, there's 10 off, I guess.
Quickly and very badly. As though they were alive, they want them. They want them every bit as much as if their son or daughter were alive. I've also been working relentlessly, stopping the killing in Ukraine. I thought that would be, of the 7 wars that I stopped, I thought that would be the easiest because of my relationship with President Putin, which had always been a good one. I thought that was going to be the easiest one. But, you know, in war, you never know what's going to happen. There are always lots of surprises, both good and bad.
What? The fact that you're just getting completely fucking shagged and made an absolute fool of, that you're just making it into a submissive little fucking jester by Putin because he just scratches your ego every now and then, telling you that he would never have invaded Ukraine had you been president. And Trump's like, oh, wow, this guy. Really like this guy. Wow. Sit on my face, daddy. God.
Everyone thought Russia would win this war in 3 days, but it didn't work out that way. It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad. No matter what happens from here on out, this was something that should have taken a matter of days, certainly less than a week. And they've been fighting for 3.5 years.
They've been fighting for
anywhere from
over 10 years, but okay.
From 5,000 to 7,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, on both sides, every single week. From 5,000 to 7,000 dead young people, and some in cities, much smaller numbers, where rockets are shot, where drones are dropped. This war would never have started if I were president. This was a war that should have never happened. It shows you what leadership is, what bad leadership can do to a country. Look what happened to the United States, and look where we are right now in just a short period of time. The only question now is how many more lives will be needlessly lost on both sides. China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy.
2 weeks.
Think of it. They're funding the war against themselves. Who the hell ever heard of that one? In the event that Russia is not ready to make a deal to end the war, then the United States is fully prepared to impose.
I don't think that stat is correct. Russia's share of EU imports was about 40% in 2021, and now it's down to 11. So it's more than just half. What? So this is where the EU got their energy from in 2021, and Russia's that blue one, and now it's down to this. So it's dropped by, it's gone from 150, to 50. That's not exactly the numbers that Trump gave. Okay. Whoa. He's just a big liar.
A strong round of powerful tariffs, which would stop the bloodshed, I believe, very quickly. But for those tariffs to be effective, European nations, all of you are gathered here right now, would have to join us in adopting the exact same measures. I mean, you're much closer to this.
You wonder how much less it would be without Hungary. Actually, that would make sense if there's a breakdown from different countries. Because obviously Hungary is making up quite a lot of it. This is suppliers. What about importers? Do they actually not break down the importers on this one? That would be a bit silly. Text version? Norway, the top supplier. That's not importers from. So who's Russia mostly importing to in Europe? For the tariffs to be effective, you guys should have given me those deals that I said I was definitely going to get. What? You should have caved. Okay.
An ocean in between. You're right there. And Europe has to step it up. They can't be doing what they're doing. They're buying oil and gas from Russia while they're fighting Russia. It's embarrassing to them, and it was very embarrassing to them when I found out about it, I can tell you that. They have to immediately cease all energy purchases from Russia. Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time. So I'm ready to discuss this. We're going to discuss it today with the European nations, all gathered here. I'm sure they're thrilled to hear me speak about it, but that's the way it is. I like to speak my mind and speak the truth. As we seek to reduce...
What do we have here? EU imports of Russian fossil fuels surpasses financial aid sent to Ukraine. Where's the fucking national breakdown? Prick. I mean, if I just put in Hungary, I'll probably tell me the rest of them, right? Dude! The funny thing is that Orban is Trump's friend. Gas pipeline imports. Where is this from? No, that's just Statista. I don't like them. Fuck that. They are not reliable. They always just do EU. How the EU still... Oh, wait. Is this going to tell you? EU member states spending on Russian fossil fuels. Okay, and this is 2020. That's 2019. Fuck me. I thought this said 2025. What? Well, that's just a live update. That's crazy. That's not helpful. Give us Hungary, please. Okay, here we are. Ah, okay. The 5 largest EU importers of Russian fossil fuels paid a total of 1.2 billion euros. The EU does not sanction natural gas, which accounts for 72% of these imports, mainly delivered by pipeline or as liquefied gas. The rest, mostly crude oil, which continues to flow to Hungary and Slovakia via the southern branch of the Druzhba pipeline under EU exemption. Hungary was the largest importer. Okay. Belgium, the second largest. France, the third. Slovakia, fourth. And Czechia, fifth. So it's these bastards. It's so fucked, man, that the EU didn't have... Because they had 10 years since Crimea to be like, okay, we probably shouldn't be depending on Russian fuel. Is there just nowhere else that they can buy fuel from? What is this? Couldn't they have gone... I guess Germany had the whole thing about going green, didn't they? But then they were against it. Or no, it was nuclear they were against, wasn't it? They could have gone nuclear, but they didn't because of Greenpeace or whatever the fuck. Merkel was to blame. So it obviously has dropped. Wait, it used to make up 80, nearly 90% of oil. That actually hasn't moved. G7 though, not. But their crude oil, that's dropped. Okay. That's what Lithuania did after Crimea. Yeah, just an offer they couldn't refuse. Well, I know that America has often wanted Saudi to increase oil production so they can lower the price. But Saudi's just like, no, fuck you, dude. Get out of here. We have money. They could diversify, it's just cheaper. Politically unpopular as well, probably. Yeah. That's a real tragedy.
Threat of dangerous weapons today. I'm also calling on every nation to join us in ending the development of biological weapons once and for all. And biological is terrible, and nuclear is even beyond, and we include nuclear in that. We want to have a cessation of the development of nuclear weapons. We know, and I get to view it all the time. Sir, would you like to see? And I look at weapons that are so powerful that we just can't ever use them. If we ever use them, the world literally might come to an end.
He's explaining mutually assured destruction.
United Nations to be talking
about. Thank you.
There would be no nothing. Just a few years ago, reckless experiments overseas gave us a devastating global pandemic.
Yes, I know that, yes. When people talk about OPEC increasing production, they just mean Saudi, really. Yeah, because they have a lot of control over that. Excuse me, chat. The Super Chat's goal is almost halfway through, and it's only 2 out of 10. That's disgusting. Disgusting. Get on it. Making me look terrible. Speedy Taco, thanks for $5. First one on the goal Tua. Wow. Danimal the Bruce, thanks to the $4.99. Check out Kirk's Thought Crimes show from July 3rd last year, about 26 minutes in, if you want to see him agreeing to Franco being like George Washington. Okay, why not?
Yet despite that worldwide catastrophe, many countries are continuing extremely risky research into bioweapons and man-made pathogens. This is unbelievably dangerous. To prevent potential disasters, I'm announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce Biological Weapons Convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it could be put to tremendous use and tremendous good, and this would be an example of that. Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the #1 political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. Ooh. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border.
Oh, no.
Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through.
Coming?
But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them.
Oh my God. This was Charlie Kirk with fucking Posobiec. They had this show on Rumble.
It breaks it down into a system, but in each of these times, we do find counter-revolutionaries, whether in Russia, whether with Pyotr Wrangel, in Spain with General Franco, who was ultimately successful against the communists, which is why they hate him and hate his guts to this day so much that they dug him up and reburied him somewhere else that he didn't want to be. In China, you see it with Chiang Kai-shek, who was completely sold out by Truman, FDR, and George Marshall, which we totally get into in the book and actually tell the truth about Yalta and all those communist spies that were there. And then in France, of course, with Napoleon.
So okay, let's talk about Franco. Who is Franco and why is he hated so much? Joshua first.
Francisco Franco was a general in the Spanish army prior to and during the Spanish Civil War of the early, late 1930s, that period. And he had previously been responsible for putting down worker strikes that were rolled out by anarcho-communists, the idea being we can spark a revolution similar to what happened in Russia. And of course, Soviets had been quietly agitating inside of Spain. Some of the communist leaders of Spain had been hiding in Paris for a little while, getting education, materials, training, resources, funding from the Soviet Union, from the Comintern.
What year was this?
This is late 20s, early 30s, this whole period.
So this is the interwar period. It's sort of like the prelude to World War II.
And so what happens is following the presidential election 1933, 34, that's an interesting year for other reasons. What happens is socialists get in charge. And the socialists allow their more radical friends who call themselves anarchists, who call themselves communists. Some are devotees of Stalin. Some of them are philosophical followers of Trotsky.
There are also opponents of Stalin as well in there, who Franco also persecuted, but okay.
The center left all the way to the far left now have power. And what happens is the anarcho-communists form...
This rewriting is so fucking retarded. Like, they always do this. They always just try to fucking compare. Like, they always just consider, even if they fight with each other, even if they kill each other, center left and far left, they're all the same.
And they begin doing what the unhumans do. They start robbing and killing. They start with landowners, small business owners, priests, nuns, lay workers of the Catholic Church, and they begin mass slaughtering, taking their stuff, killing them. Horrific crimes against humanity during this period. And the socialist government allows it, endorses it. And then Francisco Franco, who's not in the country at the time, he's away because of all the various shenanigans in northern Africa during that period. He decides, no, this isn't going to work. And what we say is that Franco, similar to George Washington, and we liken these two figures, both of them had a father's heart for their country. And a dad's
He's loving it, this fucking retard.
And the quote that
where do they learn this shit, man?
The refrain in the book is what Franco said in English, which is, wherever I am, there will be no communism. And he gathered his generals, his mates, they all united in mind. In his speech prior to we call it a military uprising against tyranny, anarcho-tyranny. Notice the word choice.
Anarcho-tyranny, yeah, okay.
In the history books, it's considered a military coup and fascist dictatorship.
Well, yeah.
And so that's the frame that has been set by the leftists who've infiltrated education, entertainment, so on and so forth. And so you look up Franco, you immediately start seeing Nazi paraphernalia, that sort of stuff. And so it's immediately, he's immediately discredited before you even learn anything about him.
Well, let me throw out. So Charlie, think about that for what he just said for a second. If Washington had
are we not going to talk about how he fucking put people into forced labor camps and imprisoned tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of his opponents, execute people, mass graves? We're not going to talk. What the fuck? And he did not distinguish, like these guys don't, I guess. He didn't distinguish between social democrats, liberals, leftists. Like they were all enemies. They were all communists, right? Oh, I can see why. That's why. Because they think it's all the same shit. Okay. That's kind of mental. So, but what? It's bad if we call these people fascist. That's crazy, right?
Let's say Washington loses, the revolution goes down.
Shut up.
And not finance them. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net. We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it. I'm not mentioning names. I see it, and I can call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody has ever.
Dan A., they were all anti-capitalists, not that mental. Okay, so that's just a lie. That's just a lie. Franco's opponents were not all anti-capitalists. Even a lot of the ones who called themselves socialists were not anti-capitalist. They were compatible with capitalism. They were social democrats in practice. You're just a liar. What the fuck? Why would you say that? What? Not to mention, weren't a good chunk of Franco's opponents like literally called Republicans? They were pro-capitalist Republicans. Fuck me. Anti-free markets. No, you're a liar. Some of them were Republicans. What anti-free markets and what? Because they support tax and spend. Are you fucking stupid? Tax and spend is not anti-capitalist.
And nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct.
I don't think Republicans are pro-capitalist. Oh, okay, I understand. You're a fucking retard. Okay, okay. I was getting confused. Okay, I thought there was maybe a fundamental misunderstanding, but I understand. You're retarded. Oh, okay. You're just an idiot. Okay. Okay.
They're doing just absolutely nothing about it. And I have to say, I look at London where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed.
Terrible change.
Now they want to go to Sharia law.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
But you're in a different country. You can't do that.
Fucking
both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done.
He hates wind turbines. That's all that is. He's really upset about wind turbines. You know that green energy was actually one of the answers to European dependence on Russian fossil fuel, by the way. Okay.
Immediately, this cannot be sustained. What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique.
He's such a.
But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries and paid for by the people of that nation that were there and that built that particular nation at the time. They put their blood, sweat, tears, money into that country, and now they're being ruined. Proud nations must be allowed to protect their communities and prevent their societies from being overwhelmed by people they have never seen before with different customs, religions, with different everything, where migrants have violated laws, lodged false asylum claims, or claimed refugee status for illegitimate reasons. They should, in many cases, be immediately sent home.
Most asylum seekers coming to the UK right now come from places that are in horrible fucking states, like places like they were for ages they were Syrians, then all the time it was in conflict-ridden parts of Iraq where the militias are still going strong. There was part of Afghanistan. These are not whatever. Just because I guess the only thing that right-wing news saw was that the Albanians, they were the ones who maybe had a bit less of a compelling claim. Yeah.
And while we will always have a big heart for places and people that are struggling and truly compassionate,
we're just going to pretend they don't exist. Yeah.
Answers will be given We have to solve the problem, and we have to solve it in their countries, not create new problems in our countries. And we are very helpful to a lot of countries that are just not able to send their people anymore. They used to send them to us in caravans of 25,000, 30,000 people each. These massive caravans of people pouring into our country, totally unchecked and unvetted. But not anymore. According to the Council of Europe in 2024, almost 50% of inmates in German prisons were foreign nationals or migrants. In Austria, the number was 53% of the people in prisons were from places that weren't from where they are now. In Greece, the number was 54%, and in Switzerland, beautiful Switzerland, 72% of the people in prisons are from outside of Switzerland. When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did, they repaid kindness with crime, it's time to
I don't
end
know where they get that stat from. They're saying half of German prisoners are foreign-born. Interesting. Let's see. Apparently one of the most represented prisoner population members in Germany is Poles. Okay. They're imprisoning a bunch of Poles.
failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. Once we started detaining and deporting everyone who crossed the border and removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore. This
is saying that 37% were foreign nationals. Hang on. I mean, that makes sense that Trump would exaggerate the fuck out of the numbers. This is actually from the government website, I think. Yeah, .de, yeah. Let's see. God, this is such a German fucking webpage. Look how efficient it is. Stop. Did they break down the demographics of the foreign-born? Foreigners. Okay. Whoa, that table is massive. Fuck. Which one 2024, man? Variables. Okay. Foreigners. Okay, this is too German. I can't handle it. I don't know how to make sense of it. What? Just give me 2024. Fuck off. Go away. Do they have a percentage? What are you doing? Bar. Give me a bar. Fuck! 70 years and over. Excuse me. Oh, that's a... Okay. Ooh. Type of imprisonment. This isn't giving me national demographic. This is just gender. Whatever. Let's see.
Humanitarian act for all involved, because on the trips up, thousands of people a week were dying. Women were being raped. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Nothing
raped,
like it.
Horribly beaten, raped. On the trip up, the journey up, it was a long walk. It was a long, arduous journey, indeed. And it was also a historic victory against human trafficking throughout the region. What we did was a victory, and we saved so many lives of people that wouldn't make the journey. That journey was loaded up with death. Loaded up with death. Dead bodies all along the roads of jungles. To get up, they go through jungles, they go through areas so hot you couldn't breathe. They were dying of suffocation. Areas so hot that you couldn't breathe. Dead bodies all over.
The fuck is he talking
about? By them
about?
not coming, we're saving tremendous numbers of lives. My people have done a fantastic job in doing what they did, and the American public agrees with it. I mean, I was very proud to see this morning I have the highest poll numbers I've ever had. Part of it is because of what we've done on
he's talking about his own
border.
Okay,
I guess the other part is what we've done on the economy. Joe Biden's policies empowered murderous gangs, human smugglers, child traffickers, drug cartels, and prisoners from all over the world. The previous administration also lost nearly 300,000 children. Think of that. They lost more than 300,000 children, little children, who were trafficked into the United States on the Biden watch, many of whom have been raped, exploited, and abused, and sold. Sold. Nobody talks about that. The fake news doesn't write about it.
Fake news.
With many others, young children who are missing or dead. And we found a lot of these children, and we're sending them back, and we've been sending them back to their parents. They said, nobody knows who they are. They said, where do you come from? And they'll give us a country, and we'll find out, and we'll figure it out, and we'll bring them back to their homes. And the mother and father rush to the door, and their tears in their eyes. They can't believe that they're seeing their son or daughter, their little son or daughter.
Oh, it's broken down here, so you can see the amount of Germans. This is actually kind of a horrible graph. I don't like it. Okay, so total number of Germans in 2024 in prison was 23,000. And for foreigners down here, total, oh, that's the total of, it'd be more actually. So here they're saying the number of foreigners is 40. No, that's the total of both, isn't it? No, it's not. It's male. Oh, no, yeah. Okay. Foreigners, male, female, total. Okay, here. This is what I'm looking for. 15,000. What, 15 versus, what was the first number? 25. Yeah. How do they classify foreigners, I wonder? Foreign born, or is there a breakdown of foreigners? Okay. Definition. Anyone who does not have German citizenship but is registered in a population register. Okay. So this could be EU citizens as well. It's including all of them. But is there a breakdown? I can't see one here. Okay.
Again, we've done almost 30,000 of them so far. Any system that results in the mass trafficking of children,
like refugees. Well, no, not necessarily. You can be a second generation migrant and not have German citizenship. Yeah.
is inherently evil. Yet that is exactly what the globalist migration agenda has done, and it's what it's all about. In America, those days, as you know, are over. The Trump administration is working, and we are continuing to work to track down the villains that are causing this problem, and also, as I said, to get back the 30,000 we've already returned. Now I think we're going to have another. We're going to find a lot. You're not going to find all of them. 300, more than 300,000. They're lost or they're dead. They're lost or they're dead because of the animals that did this. To protect our citizens, I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as and you see this, and you see it happening right before your eyes. Let's put it this way. People don't like taking big loads of drugs in boats anymore. There aren't too many boats that are traveling on the seas by Venezuela.
They could have just impounded the boats. Oh, God.
Quickly anymore. And
is he still talking? Yeah, he's still yapping.
Into our country by sea. We call them the water drugs. They kill hundreds of thousands of people. I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as foreign terrorist organizations, along with two bloodthirsty transnational gangs, probably the worst gangs anywhere in the world, MS-13 and Tren de Aragua.
Fuck me.
Tren de Aragua is from Venezuela, by the way. Such organizations torture, maim, mutilate, and murder with impunity. They're the enemies of all humanity.
He's just doing a Trump rally. It's just a Trump rally.
Chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail.
Green
and
scam,
I'm really good at
but also stop depending on Russian energy. Okay, nice.
Conseguimos usar eles e evitar aumento da temperatura.
Translation.
Defend free speech and free expression. Let us protect religious liberty, including
for
the most
free speech,
persecuted religion on the planet today. It's called Christianity. And let us safeguard our sovereignty and cherish qualities that have made each of our nations so special, incredible, and extraordinary. In closing, I just want to repeat that immigration and the high cost of so-called green renewable energy is destroying a large part of the free world and a large part of our planet. Countries that cherish freedom are fading fast because of their policies on these two subjects. You need strong borders and traditional energy sources if you are going to be great again. Whether you have come from north or south, east or west, near or far, every leader in this beautiful hall today...
He's just hoping the tariffs produce like new fucking oil sources in America. You know, the more we tariff, the more America tariffs places like any other oil producer in the world, then the result is going to be that we're also going to completely coincide with equal numbers of oil discovery in fucking Chattanooga or whatever.
Represents a rich culture, a noble history, and a proud heritage that makes each nation majestic and unique, unlike anything else in human history or any other place on the face of the earth. From London to Lima, from Rome to Athens, from Paris to Seoul, from Cairo to Tokyo and Amsterdam to right here in New York City, we stand on the shoulders of the leaders and legends, generals and giants, heroes and titans who won and built our beloved nations, all of our nations, with their own courage, strength, spirit, and skill. Our ancestors climbed mountains, conquered oceans, crossed deserts, and trekked over wide open plains. They charged into thunderous battles, plunged into grave dangers, and they were soldiers and farmers and
this
workers
is definitely the
and
wrapping
warriors
up
and
section,
explorers and patriots. They built towns into cities, tribes into kingdoms, ideas into industries, and small islands into mighty empires. You're a part of all of that. They were champions for their people who never gave up and who never, ever gave in. Their values defined our national identities. Their visions forged our magnificent destiny. Everybody in this room is a part of it in your own way. Each of us inherits the deeds and the myths, the triumphs, the legacies of our own heroes and founders who so bravely showed us the way. Our ancestors gave everything for homelands that they defended with pride, with sweat, with blood, with life, and with death. Now the righteous task of protecting the nations that they built belongs to each and every one of us. So together let us uphold our sacred duty to our people and to our citizens. Let us protect their borders, ensure their safety, preserve their cultures, treasure, and traditions, and fight, fight, fight for their precious dreams and their cherished freedoms. And in friendship and really a beautiful vision, let us all work together to build a bright, beautiful planet, a planet that we all share, a planet of peace and a world that is richer, better, and more beautiful than ever before. That can happen. It will happen. It will happen, and I hope it can happen and start right now, right at this moment. We'll turn it around. We're going to make our countries better, safer, more beautiful. We're going to take care of our people. Thank you very much. It's been an honor. God bless the nations of the world. Thank you very much. Bye.
Mostly God bless me. Yeah, okay. It's fight, fight, fight his new thing. Yeah, he's...
On behalf of the Assembly, I wish to thank the President of the United States.
What now? Fucking bell. Oh, everyone's leaving. What? Okay, we're going to leave that on for a bit. We'll see if it changes. I know they were talking about recognizing Palestine yesterday, and they gave all the same conditions that Macron was talking about earlier. They were like, oh, demilitarize and no Hamas, blah, 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 yeah. Fuck me, that was so boring. That was disgusting.